Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week number 2 of season 12 of the Lions Den Quiz League. In the last week, I finished in 4th place, which was a very solid start to the season. It was a pretty hard week overall with some pretty low scores. But yeah, still pretty happy with how I did. But yeah, this is week number 2. I'm really tired right now, so sorry if that comes through in the way that I talk or if I fail to read questions. But anyway, gonna do my best here. So we're going to jump in, as always, with quiz number 1. It's a general knowledge quiz written by Physics. First, who won the Razzie for Worst Director for the 2024 film Megalopolis? He joins an elite club of directors who won both a Worst Director Razzie and a Best Oscar for Directing, which he had previously won 50 years earlier for a sequel, often regarded as one of the best films of all time. So I was not actually sure when I first read this who directed Megalopolis, but then a sequel, often regarded as one of the best films of all time, that immediately makes me think of The Godfather Part 2. And that was, of course, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. And once I thought of that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he did direct Megalopolis. So I kind of figured that one out after the fact, but I'm pretty sure this is Francis Ford Coppola. Number 2, polls in 2017 and 2021 conducted by C-SPAN agreed on the 2 worst presidents of the United States. Interestingly, these presidents served immediately before and immediately after the individual listed as the best president in both polls, who are either of these presidents. Now, my thought here is that it's going to be Abraham Lincoln, who is the best president, and the ones around him are James Buchanan and Andrew Johnson. The one thing I'm scared of here is FDR. I think he could also reasonably be listed as the best president, and before FDR was Herbert Hoover, who could definitely be bottom 2. But I'm pretty sure after FDR was Truman, and I don't think Truman is like bottom 2 presidents of all time. It seems weird that he would be there on that list. So I think Buchanan and Johnson probably makes more sense. I don't really know what Buchanan did other than not be married. But Johnson was notably impeached and I don't think did much of anything. So I think this is a perfectly fine guess. I think Lincoln being number 1 just makes more sense than anything else. So I'm going to go with Johnson. The historically worst performances in a FIFA World Cup semifinal was by what country who lost to Germany 7-1 in 2014? That is, of course, Brazil. I think this is a very easy question. I think most people will remember when that happened. But yeah, that was certainly a notable event. Number 4, an extremely rushed schedule requiring completion by Christmas in 1982 caused an Atari video game to be regarded by many to be the worst of all time. It was so bad that it caused a video game crash in 1983, and many cartridges were buried in New Mexico and covered with concrete. This game is based off of what beloved film released earlier the same year? Unfortunately, I don't know what's going on here. I'm not very good with video game history. And I'm thinking, okay, completion by Christmas makes me think it's a Christmas movie if they wanted to release it by Christmas. So I'm going to say Home Alone. I don't know if there's a video game based on that. It would make sense that I haven't heard of it if it's bad. But I could believe it. Was that in 1982? I don't know. I don't know what year any film was released. So I'm just guessing here, but I'm thinking it's probably a Christmas movie. So I will go ahead and guess a beloved Christmas movie. Number 5, what are the opening 7 words of Edward Bulwer-Lytton's 1830 novel, Paul Clifford? The opening is an example of purple prose and caused Bulwer-Lytton to be the namesake of a contest to write the worst possible opening sentence to a novel. In the Peanuts comics, Snoopy often uses this line to start his novels, and 3 of the words are used to describe a cocktail made from rum and ginger beer. I'm actually not sure what the cocktail is. But it doesn't really matter. It was a dark and stormy night. A very, very famous opening line, and notably used in Peanuts. Maybe dark and stormy is the cocktail? Not sure. It's probably not it was, though. Among EU countries, Bulgaria ranks near the bottom of what eponymous economic indicator that measures inequality by seeing how evenly wealth is distributed among a country's residents. Bulgaria scores 37.2, which is worse than all other EU countries, but lower than the United States. I don't have a clue what this is, which is kind of bad because I majored in economics and feel like maybe this is something I should have heard of before, but I don't have any idea what's going on here. I'm assuming it's something I won't have heard of. So I'm going to guess what was I going to guess? Solow index? I don't know. Solow is a famous economist, macroeconomist who, I think he worked on like productivity or something. So honestly, that's probably not even like, this probably doesn't even make any sense, but I was just like, I'm going to guess a random economist and put the word index after and just call it a day, because to be honest, I have no idea what this is. So, for enhancing, Brazil is easy. I think Coppola is pretty easy. I kind of want to go for Johnson because I think a lot of the people playing this quiz are going to be European and might not know who came before and after Abe Lincoln. And I feel like number 5 is pretty known, although that might be a good one to enhance as well. But I'm going to go with 2, and I'm going to hope that it's not Herbert Hoover, but it's not. Coppola, Buchanan Johnson, Brazil, E.T. Dang. That makes sense. Is that what the New Mexico clue was? Aliens? I should have paid more attention to that. I was like, I don't know what that means, but it makes sense that New Mexico, Roswell, whatever would suggest aliens. So ET makes a ton of sense, actually. And then Genie. I don't know what that is as expected. So, oops. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know what the Genie is or GINI or whatever the heck that is, but yeah, unlucky, I guess. 4 out of 6, not the worst result there. Well, or was it the worst? I mean, that's what the quiz is called. So, but yeah, I think I'm fine with that result. So we will move to quiz 2, which is connections, and this quiz is freaking hard. Like there was a connections or sequences or whatever. I think it was a bit of both in the off-season tournament thing, and it was very, very hard. This genuinely might be harder. Like this set of questions is crazy difficult. Or maybe I'm just bad, but the average score is very low, so it is very hard. Anyway, what connects these 4 clues? Dr. Strangelove, Lefty the Hamburger Helper, Luke Skywalker, and baseball players. I have no clue what's going on. I'm gonna guess like bombers, because like Dr. Strangelove or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb or whatever the title is of that. I've never seen it, but I'm pretty sure that's the title. And there's definitely bombs feature notably in that movie. Luke Skywalker, I think maybe the thing that he flies, the X-Wing or whatever, could be described as a bomber, although it kind of shoots like lasers and stuff, not bombs. So again, I don't feel very good about that either. But bomber, like the Bronx Bombers, baseball players could be the Yankees, or it could just be bombs in general, like they hit bombs as in home runs. I have no idea what the second one is, by the way. Lefty the Hamburger Helper. I have no clue what that is, so I'm just not even paying attention to that one. This is almost certainly wrong, but I cannot think of anything better, so I'm just going to move on. Number 2, what connects these 4 clues? Kangaroo, Blood, Phillips, and America. These are all captains. Captain Kangaroo, Captain Phillips, Captain America. I don't know what Captain Blood is, but the other 3 are definitely captains, so that should be correct. These 4, Cassandra, Vulcans, the camera, and George Washington, allegedly. Again, this one I have thought about for a while, and I can't think of a thing. Cassandra is like a famous, like, person from Greek mythology who could see the future. Like, she had, like, the gift of prophecy. Vulcans in Star Trek, I guess, is what we're talking about. They can't see the future as far as I know. They can, like, read people's minds, which is different. The camera, I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to do with that clue. And then George Washington allegedly, I don't know, cut down a cherry tree. Like, what does that have to do with anything? I don't know. So I'm just going to say mind reading. I mean, Cassandra maybe could do that too. I think of it as more future telling than mind reading, but could be that. But again, how does the camera read minds? Did George Washington read minds? I don't think so. But again, I don't know what's going on, so I'm just going to give up here because this is really, really difficult. What connects these 4 clues? Disney-owned comic book publisher, Samuel Langhorne Clemens, extinct elephantid genus, and bioluminescent kiwi. Again, like, what is happening? Like, Samuel Langhorne Clemens is Mark Twain, but I don't know what the heck Mark Twain has to do with anything going on here. The first one, I was like, maybe this is like Marvel or DC or something. That could work. And then elephantid genus, I thought maybe like a mammoth, but I don't know. Like, is that even a genus? I don't know. Bioluminescent kiwi, I don't know what's happening there. So really, I'm just completely and utterly lost here again. I'm just going to say they start in Mar because Mark Twain and Marvel start with Mar. And then, I don't know, Woolly Marmoth. To be honest with you, I don't have any idea. Once again, like, I'm getting just destroyed by this quiz. Number 5, Charles Dickens' birth year, Swiss folk hero, Shrove Sunday through Tuesday, and the largest UK archipelago. This one took me a second, but the Swiss folk hero is definitely William Tell. And I'm thinking of what are the few things I know about William Tell. He's a guy who apparently shot an apple off someone's head with an arrow. It was his son, I think. Um, and he has an overture named after him. And then I was like, wait a second, overture, 1812 overture is a thing. Was Dickens born in 1812? Quite possibly. And then the largest UK archipelago would be the Hebrides overture, which is Mendelssohn, I think. So these are overtures, and I think that is actually quite difficult. So I'm happy for picking that one up. I'm not normally very good at classical music, but I guess I can name a few overtures. I don't know what the third one is, like Lent or something, like no clue. But this should be right. And then number 6, these 4, again, not really sure what the heck's going on here. The only one that I'm getting much out of is the 4th one. I think vitamin B1 deficiency is beriberi. So that's like a reduplicative word, right? Berry. And the fact that all of these show up twice makes me think maybe that's all that's happening. Like these are just things that are words that repeat themselves. So I'm just going to say reduplicative words. I don't feel very good about it because heart sound I would think is a beat, which doesn't make any sense for the clue, but it could be something else. I don't know. And then the Turkic ethnic group, I thought like Tatar, like Tartar, I think is alternatively a name for the Tatars, but normally I see Tatar, not Tartar, so it's like kind of a weird clue, but it could be that. Or it's another Turkic ethnic group that I haven't thought of, but the ones I can think of are like, Turks, Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, like, etc. And that hasn't really been working for me. So, yeah, I'm going to try reduplicative words. Again, rolled semolina, it's something to do with like wheat or pasta or whatever, like durum or something. Again, I don't know. So, this is such a hard quiz. I'm definitely enhancing number 5 because I think that 2 is a little bit easier and the rest I just don't feel good about at all. But yeah, just brutal to be honest. But we will see how I actually did on this in a sec. They all wear one glove. Good God. Okay, they're all captains. They do not tell lies. Caves. Caves? What? Dude. Overtures reduplicate. Okay. It is tartar. That's interesting. Couscous. Of course. Rolled. Oh, that makes sense, actually. Murmur. I don't know if I've ever heard that word to refer to a heartbeat, but sure. But tartar, again, I feel like tatar is a much more common spelling of that word, so it's a little weird, but it's fine. And beriberi was kind of the one that got me there. Overtures was correct. Apparently, carnival is like the Christian thing. I would never have gotten that. So 3 out of 6 on this. Honestly, I'm totally fine with that because I didn't even think I was going to get that. One glove, no chance. I mean, like, no chance. I don't even remember what the clues were. Luke Skywalker was one glove. I didn't even know that. Apparently, I need to rewatch Star Wars. What were the other ones? There was the like hamburger helper or whatever, like whatever the hell that is. Doctor Strange. I've never seen the movies. So I wouldn't have known that. I don't even remember the 4th one. And then caves. What? What is happening? Mammoth Cave is a thing. Sure. What is Mark Twain Cave? Or Marvel Cave? Am I going insane? What are these things? Are these like famous geographical things? Or are they like what? Not a clue what's going on in that one. And then they do not tell lies. What even was the dude, I don't even remember what the clues were for that one. They do not tell lies. All I can think of is Harry Potter, like Umbridge making him write it on his hand or whatever. They do not tell lies. Dude, I don't even remember the clues. Oh my God. I was so lost. I was just like, I'm not even gonna bother here. I can't even think of it. I don't even know. I'm just gonna move on because like, I don't know what that was so hard. Okay. Quiz 3 is pop culture. A 1968 song by Harry Nilsson about loneliness, a 1989 song by Metallica with a video featuring scenes from Johnny Got His Gun, and a 1992 song by U2 inspired by German reunification, all share what name? I don't know. Like, I don't know what any of these songs are. I can name a few U2 songs. None of them are right because it's not going to be like, I still haven't found what I'm looking for, or like, Pride in the Name of Love or whatever. Um, I'll say Sunday Bloody Sunday because I don't know. I think that's about an entirely different event. I don't think that has anything to do with Germany, but it is a U2 song, and I don't know. It could be something. This is wrong, but I can't. I have no idea what this is. Like, I can't name a Metallica song that's not Enter Sandman, and I don't know who the hell Harry Nilsson is, so unlucky. Number two, a 1995 Michael Mann film about a conflict between LAPD homicide detective and a career thief. A 2017 Kelly Clarkson dance track where she sings I'm Used to Feeling That Fire, and the nickname of an NBA team that has retired the numbers of Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway, and Chris Bosh, among others. Share what name? Chris Bosh is the one that I know, but he played for the Miami Heat, notably. Heat makes sense given Feeling That Fire, so that should be right. The first BTS song to be released fully in English, a 2010 Tayo Cruz hit, and with a mispronunciation for emphasis, the catchphrase of JJ on the show Good Times are all what word? Tayo Cruz is the one I'm getting it off here, but I think Dynamite, and I think it's like Dynamite maybe is the mispronunciation in the third one. But to be fair, that's also applies to the second one because Tayo Cruz says Dynamite for some reason in that song. So anyway, it's just kind of one of those classic one-hit wonders. Number four, what company behind the Red Dead video game series shares a name with many hit songs, including ones by Nickelback, Post Malone, 21 Savage, DaBaby, and Lisa? While the name is the same, some artists choose to use one word and some two. This one took me a second, but I believe this is going to be Rockstar. Nickelback, I Want to Be a Rockstar. Post Malone is like feel just like a rock star. So I don't know. I haven't heard it that many times, but I'm aware of the song at least. And I know that Rockstar Games is a thing, so it took a second to click, but that's definitely correct. Number five, an individual member of the Swedish band that sang Love Fool and a Taylor Swift song from Folklore are both named after what Welsh town? I can name one Taylor Swift song off the album Folklore, and it's called Cardigan, and I'm pretty sure that Cardigan is a town in Wales, so I feel pretty good about that one. Again, no idea what the Swedish... I don't know why so many Swedish bands keep coming up in these, but I don't know Swedish bands that aren't ABBA. Like, maybe I need to fix that, but whatever. Finally, the nickname of Korean-American professional pool player Jeanette Lee is also the alias of Natasha Romanoff in what Iggy Azalea song featuring Rita Ora and written by Katy Perry. No idea. I can name one Iggy Azalea song, and it's Fancy. And I don't think that's right, because I don't think that has Rita Ora on it. So unlucky, but I don't know what the heck the first two things are, so there's not really much that I can do about this question either. And then for enhancing, I think I'll go with 5, because 2, 3, and 4 feel a little easier, maybe. And I don't feel very good about 1 or 6. So 5 it is. There are no bicycles in this photo. But I don't know. Was there one, apparently? I don't know what's going on. 1. 1. Okay, that was the Sunday Bloody Sunday. Yeah, that's certainly wrong. Heat, Dynamite, Rockstar, Cardigan, and Black Widow. Black Widow. Oh, is it the superhero? That's going to have like a 90% get rate because everyone's like, oh, how do you not know like Natasha, whatever? But it's like, I'm sorry. I don't know who that, like, I just don't know who that is. But 4 out of 6 is fine for pop culture. I'll take it. I think that was a relatively straightforward quiz as pop culture quizzes go. Not the best performance from me, but I think it's fine. Quiz number 4 is audio. So I'm going to have to not play the audio clips in order to not get copyright claimed. But as usual, I will leave a link to a Google Drive folder with all of the clips in it for you guys to listen to. And yeah, I'm also going to pause the recording because I don't remember which clip is which and I need to remind myself. Right, so clip number 1, by the way, just kind of like quiz 2, this quiz is really, really hard. Like, I have been trying to get something out of a lot of these questions, and I've not been getting much. This one, I am especially clueless. Number 1, I've heard a couple of these before, but I have no idea what they're called. I have no idea who sings them. One of them says something about riding all day or something, so I'm going to say vehicles, because it could be named after, like a car or something. I to be honest, no idea on number 1. So we'll head to number 2. All right, so number 2 is, so the first one is Layla by Derek and the Dominos. Excellent song. The second one is Mary Jane's Last Dance by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Excellent song. The third one is Midnight Train to Georgia by I'm not sure. It might be like Gladys Knight and the Pips or something. And the fourth one is I'm not sure again, but I thought maybe like Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. What I'm hoping is that the theme is, blank and the blank being the name of the band, because that definitely fits for the first two. And to be fair, their first two are also named after like women, like Layla and Mary Jane. Well, is Mary Jane even a woman, or is Mary Jane just weed? I don't know, but um, I think this fits a little bit better, especially given I don't think the other two, or at least the Midnight Train to Georgia, I think is just called that. I don't think it's named after a person. So, although Georgia could be a woman's name, to be fair. But yeah, I think this is hopefully the connection for this one, but we shall see. Right. So this one is giving me trouble because I know the songs, but I just don't know what the heck the connection is. The first one is Starboy by The Weeknd. The second one was, I think, I'm trying to remember what the order was. Sweater Weather by The Neighborhood, and then there was Shape of You by Ed Sheeran, and then there was Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. After the first three, I was like, hey, they're all songs starting with S, but Blinding Lights does not start with an S. So it's not that. And I don't know what it is. I mean, these are all mega popular songs, but I don't know, like, are they just like Billboard number ones or something? Like, that's what I'm going to put because I don't have a better answer than this. It might have something to do with the songs being popular, but I don't know specifically what the connection is. And to be honest, I just don't think I'm going to come up with it. It might be something that's completely on the wrong track from where I am, but again, I'm not sure. So this is the best I've got. Right. So number four is another tough one because I don't really know much of what's going on. Number one is New York, New York by Frank Sinatra, but I don't know the other two songs. One of them is Taylor Swift. The other one I really don't know at all. But I'm just thinking, okay, this one is a sequence, so we're looking for the fourth one in the sequence. What's a sequence that could start with New York? It could be the four most populous states in the U.S. I think New York is number four. It would go Florida, Texas, and California after that. So I'll go ahead and say California because I got nothing better. I don't know of a Taylor Swift song called Florida or anything derivative of that, but definitely could exist because I'm not that familiar with her entire discography. And I'm just going to say California. I'm pretty sure there's a song called California, like There Is No End to Love or whatever the U2 song is. It's just called California, I think. So in case it needs me to be, like, I could say California Girls or California Love or Hotel California or whatever, but I think I'm just going to say California because there's definitely songs that are just called that. And in case the sequence is literally just songs named after the state and nothing else, or maybe it's reduplicative. Well, okay, if it's reduplicative, then it's California, California. But I don't know a song called that. So I'm just going to say California and hope that I've got the right idea. I think it could work. I mean, I think it makes sense, New York being number four most populous. But again, I'm guessing because I only know one of the songs. Right. So number five, again, I don't feel great about this one because I only know one of the songs. The one in the middle is A Thousand Years by Christina Perri. The first one is Justin Bieber, but I don't know the song. And the third one is a song that I've heard, but I don't know who the heck it's by or what it's called. So also unfortunate, but A Thousand Years has a number in it, and I'm thinking this could be some kind of number sequence. So I'm thinking could be like 999, 1000, 1001, but it's more likely to be like powers of 10 is my thought. So it could be like 1000, 10,000, that kind of thing. So I have to decide between, is it 10,000, 1,110, or is it the other way around? I would guess, like, I don't know. I mean, it could be either way, unfortunately. But I feel like maybe counting down is a little more likely for it to be 10,000, 1,110 rather than 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, but it could be either. Or could be neither. I don't know. But I'm going to say 10 Feet Tall because that is a song by Afrojack, I think. Another one of those just random classic songs from like 10 years ago or whatever. But that's a song that exists. I could also just say 10, but I'm not actually that confident that there's a song called that. I'm sure there is somewhere. But I think at this point I may as well get 1,000. I mean, it could be like 10,000 years, 1,000 years, 100 years, 10 years. That's possible. But is there a song called 10 years? Like, should I do that? Is that like a better guess? Like, there's probably a song out there called 10 Years. Like, is that safer for me to do that? Could they all be years? Is that possible? I'm actually going to do that because I feel like I don't know. I don't know what the criteria for accepting answers here is, but like if there is a song that exists with that title, I feel like you should be given credit. And surely there is a song somewhere with this title. There might be a famous one. I mean, I'm thinking it maybe is a famous one if this is exactly what the sequence is, but I don't know. Like it seems better for me to play along with the whole years thing rather than just guess something random in case the years is actually part of the sequence, if that makes sense. So I'm going to say 10 years and hope that I get credit for it if that is the right idea. But again, I don't know. I mean, it could be something completely different. I'm just blabbing at this point. I should probably move on to clip 6. Okay, so here again, I don't know what's happening. The first one I think is Break My Stride, I think is what the song is called. I don't know who the heck sings it. And then the third one I believe is Fast Car, but it's not the Tracy Chapman version. It's some like random like country cover of it, which also doesn't really help because it's like if it has to do with the artists, I'm in trouble. But all I have is Break My Stride and Fast Car, and I'm like, how do these connect? I don't know. Break Fast Breakfast, but it's like it's the first one and the third one, so I don't think that works. So to be honest, I thought about this for a while and I just don't have anything. I thought it could be about speed, maybe like fast being a speed break, like breakneck. I don't know, breakneck, fast, slow. I don't know, man. Whatever. I've been trying to think about this and I just don't have anything. So I'm going to say Slow Ride because that is a song that exists and maybe we're going in some sort of sequential order of speeds, but I feel like that has literally a 0% chance of being correct because it doesn't really make any sense as a sequence, but I don't know what the heck it is, so we're just gonna go with that and be done with it. So for enhancing, I honestly don't feel decent about any of these except number 2. I mean, a couple of them definitely could be right. I think that like the reasoning for California is solid enough, and the reasoning for the 10 years one is also solid enough. But again, I may have the complete wrong idea for both. I'm just going off of what I have, and yeah. The others, I mean, 3 could be right as well. It seems like kind of a tenuous connection, but yeah, it could be that. Anyway, I'm going to enhance number 2. And we'll just see how I did, because this is just a brutal quiz overall. Oh my lord. Okay, cardinal directions. No clue. Again, no chance. I don't know what those songs are. Group names X and the X. Good. Okay, it was Gladys Knight and the Pips and Joan Jett and the Heartbreakers. Sorry, she had a name. What the? No, surely that's a typo, right? Is it not the Black Hearts? They just did Heartbreakers twice. Did she and Tom Petty use the same band name? I don't think so. Spotify's top 4 most streamed songs. Good lord. Okay, well yeah, they are popular songs. I was right about that. It wasn't the right idea. Unfortunately, that's kind of annoying. It's like, I don't know why I would know the top 4 most streamed songs on Spotify. That's kind of specific, but okay. I guess if they're top 4, fair enough. And maybe I should know that, but I mean, I just would never know that. Any song featuring California in the title. Let's go. Frank Sinatra, Florida is apparently the Taylor Swift song, and then Texas Hold'em. Oh, that makes sense. I've never listened to that before. And then 10 is right again. Let's go. Okay, so 10,000 hours, 1,000 years, 100 years. So 2 of them were years. So honestly, like, I feel kind of validated because if the first one was called 10,000 years, then I feel like 10 years would be maybe like a required response there. So, hey. But I had exactly the right idea. I'm actually very happy with that. And then finally, any song by someone named John, because it's Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Holy moly, dude. No chance. I mean, who is Mark Morrison? Who is Matthew Wilder? I've heard of Luke Combs, but I don't know the cover of Fast. Like, I know the original version of that song, not the cover of it, so that's never happening either. Good lord. Yeah, that's a hard quiz. That is just a hard quiz. I feel pretty good about 3 out of 6 there. Because 4 and 5, I was kind of just stabbing in the dark based off of just one song that I knew. But, you know, they were reasonable sequences, so I think those are definitely gettable, even if you just have one, but you do have to do a little bit of thinking. But yeah, not bad, to be honest. Just nasty quiz. Quiz 5. Happy families are all alike. Oh, these are all opening lines of novels, by the way. Happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. This is the opening line in translation of what novel? The title character winds up so unhappy that she takes extreme action to escape her family. Karenina is famously jumps in front of a train at the end of the book. Yada yada. Spoilers, I guess, but I don't think there's really such a thing as spoiling a book that's like 200 years old. So we're just gonna go with it. I sing of arms and the man, he who exiled by fate, first came from the coast of Troy to Italy is the opening to what work? I didn't know this off the top of my head, but I don't know what this could be other than the Aeneid. Like Troy, coming from the Trojan War, going to Italy, right? I mean, that's just Aeneas, right? I mean, that's just what he did. I've never read the Aeneid before, but it's like, I don't know what else this could be. It just makes way too much sense to be anything else. Number 3, the Lord spoke to Moses in the tent of meeting in the desert of Sinai on the first day of the second month of the second year after the Israelites came out of Egypt. He said, take a census of the whole Israelite community by their clans and families, listing every man by name, one by one. This is the opening to what book of the Bible? I don't know, but I'm going to say Numbers because, I don't know, census, numbers, counting things one by one. I mean, sounds like numbers to me. Number 4, turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Blank, the center cannot hold, mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. Above is the opening half stanza to the W.B. Yeats poem, The Second Coming. What 3 words have been redacted? The 3 words title a book whose own first line tells of a man who was well known throughout the 9 villages and even beyond. This is Things Fall Apart. Famous poem, of course, Things Fall Apart, the center cannot hold, but also Things Fall Apart being a famous novel by Chinua Achebe. So that's what's going on there. Number 5, what's it going to be then? That was me. That is Alex and my 3 droogs. That is Pete, Georgie, and Dim. Dim being really dim. And we sat in the Korova Milk Bar making up our Rasudoks. What to do with the evening is the opening to A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. Very famous movie, Stanley Kubrick movie. I've seen the movie. I've never read the book, but I mean, if you've seen the movie, I don't know, the milk bar and the droogs and Alex and all of that. That's what happens in the movie. It is quite a disturbing film, but well, it's been a while since I saw it. Maybe I should watch again. Number 6. Oh God, should I try this? Als Gregor Samsa eines Morgens aus unruhigen Traumen erwachte, fand sich in seinem Bett zu einem ungeheuren Ungeziefer verwandelt. Is the original opening to what novella? The word Ungeziefer has proven difficult for many translators, with common choices including vermin, insect, or cockroach. Gregor Samsa being the protagonist of The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. So, enhancing-wise, kind of like number 4. I feel like knowing the words of the Yeats poem is not trivial, nor is knowing the, first line of Things Fall Apart. So, I think I like that one better than anything else. I think the Aeneid is okay too, but I feel like that's just a little more gettable if you know your ancient literature, so I think I'll go with 4. But yeah, always happy to see a literature quiz because I tend to be pretty good at them in comparison to other things, so that is a fun one. And that is Numbers. Good. Nice. That was the only one I felt not great about, or at least not sure about, but 6 out of 6. Good stuff. Quiz 6 is current events. The 26th of October saw the signing of the Kuala Lumpur Peace Accord, setting up a tenuous peace between Thailand and Cambodia after months of border skirmishes. Central to the creation and negotiation of these accords was Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim in his authority as the 2025 rotating head of what regional organization. The negotiation of these peace accords took place on the sidelines of the 47th summit of this organization. This is kind of embarrassing. I don't know how to pronounce this. In my head, it's just Asian. I don't think it's pronounced Asian, but I don't know how the heck people actually say this. Is it like ASEAN, ASEAN? I straight up don't know. I'm sorry. I know I've seen this written 100 times. I've never heard anybody say it, but whatever. This is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or something along those lines. But I think it makes sense. I mean, Malaysia, obviously Thailand, Cambodia, that is all Southeast Asia. So I hope that's what's going on as a regional organization, but it is a guess in the end. I mean, I don't actually know the news, but I think it just makes perfect sense. Number 2, November saw the first time qualification of several countries to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. In addition to Jordan and Uzbekistan, 2 small island developing states also made the list of first-time qualifiers. Name either of these 2 countries playing in the CONCACAF and CAF confederations, respectively. So CAF, I believe, is Africa, and I'm pretty sure that Cabo Verde qualified for the World Cup. I'm not actually sure what the other one is. CONCACAF is North America, so if it's an island nation, it's not Trinidad and Tobago, I think, because I think they've been in the World Cup before. Honestly, I don't know what it is. Is it like Barbados or Jamaica or something? Genuinely no idea, but whatever, because I really should know this, but I'm not very up to date on World Cup stuff, so I think this is right anyway, unless I'm mixing up CAF with AFC, but I think AFC is Asia and CAF is Africa, so this should be right. So I'm just going to go with that. Number 3, the 7th of November saw the first images of the new Airbus A350-1000 ULR aircraft. This aircraft was commissioned by what national flagship airline to tie its biggest aircraft hub to London and New York. When completed, this will break the record for the longest nonstop commercial flight route in the process, with both flights expected to take upwards of 20 hours, a bit longer than just an ARVO. Like ARVO is Australian slang for afternoon. So we should be in Australia, and the national flagship airline of Australia is Qantas. So that should be what's going on. I'm guessing Sydney is the destination. Number 4, the 4th of December saw the appointment of Washington, D.C.-based architectural firm Shalom Baranes to design what kind of indoor area. The Blitz decision to construct this area has faced backlash due to concerns over, among other things, the destruction of another building with historical and cultural value of the building which previously stood in its place. So I think this is the Trump thing. I think it's a ballroom. I'm not sure. I'm not positive I'm remembering this correctly. I know he wants to construct some ridiculous, extravagant thing in some part of the White House. Washington, D.C. makes sense for this. Backlash makes sense for this. I hope it's a ballroom and not something similar. I might be misremembering. I'm not sure. Number 5, on the 22nd of December, we were met with the news of the passing of British singer-songwriter Chris Rea. Although several of his works play on the themes of summer, his by far most popular song is what holiday-themed song, describing an activity many of us have been doing on the date of his passing, may have been doing. This is kind of sad because one of my all-time favorite YouTube clips is the Bob Mortimer "Would I Lie to You" story about Chris Rea cracking an egg into his bath. If you haven't seen this, please go watch it. It's hilarious. But the problem is I don't actually know anything about Chris Rea, and I don't know any songs by him. So I'm just going to say sledding, because that's something you could do on the 22nd of December. But to be honest, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's kind of a shame, but that clip is legendary. And then, funnily enough, speaking of hilarious "Would I Lie to You" clips, New Year, new currency. What country joined the Eurozone on the 1st of January 2026, becoming the zone's 21st member? In doing so, the country will gradually phase out their old currency known as the lev. Another incredible clip from that show is the Kevin Bridges accidentally buying a horse story. It's so funny. Like that, I mean, like I don't watch British shows, but I at one point ended up down a rabbit hole of just watching clips from What I Lie to You on YouTube, and they are so good. Like genuinely, that show, the concept is so funny, and you just get some incredible moments out of it. Anyway, I know the Bulgarian currency was the lev because of Kevin Bridges telling the story about buying a horse, and it's again, it is worth a watch. But yes, he correctly recalls the name of the currency. He's like, oh yeah, it was 200 lev. And it's just, there are so many moments in that clip that are just, oh man, I don't know. So good. So good, man. I also wonder, not to go on a tangent, but I really do wonder, like, I know that they cut out a lot of the stuff from that show. I'm pretty sure, based off of the way that the people were reacting, that he was probably telling that story for about half an hour, and it got cut down to like 7 minutes. But I would love to see the entire version of that clip because, oh man, so good, so good. Anyway, Bulgaria is the answer, and interestingly enough, Bulgaria showed up earlier in the quizzes, which kind of scared me, but the lev is just Bulgaria, and I also heard something about Bulgaria going to the Euro, so that should be right. Anyway, enough blabbing from me, but if you haven't watched the Kevin Bridges "I once accidentally bought a horse" story, go watch it now. Okay. For enhancing, I honestly don't really know what to go for here. Because like I feel like ballroom, I don't feel good enough about it because I feel like it could have been something else. Chris Rea is going to be wrong. And the others, I don't know. They all feel like relatively easy, but not that easy. I think I might just enhance Bulgaria because it might not be that well known what the currency is, but I don't feel great about it. Like the Arvo clue, I feel like makes it pretty direct to get to Qantas, but like, do people know the flagship airline? I feel like they do. Like, I don't know. And then this one you have to get one of two, and I think those are pretty well known. And then this one is just it's just a known thing. So I'm gonna go with 6, but I don't know. Bulgaria driving home for Christmas. Good lord. No chance. Ballroom, Qantas, Curacao. Okay, that's why I didn't think of it. It's not a country. And then Asian is correct. So quiz 4. That was not quiz 4, but whatever. We take those. 5 out of 6 is fine. No problems there, and I was never going to get question 5. Finally, quiz number 7 is all about maps. What is the name of the German cartographer who created the Carta Marina Navigatoria in 1516, which included an elephant-like creature in northernmost Norway, described in the map legend as a morsus? This man and his collaborator Matthias Ringmann are also typically credited with the first recorded usage of the name America to label a portion of the New World. I do not know. I'm going to guess Humboldt. I don't think this is the right guy at all. I don't even know if he was a cartographer. I know he was a scientist of some kind. Did he even live anywhere around 1516? I also don't know that, but I can't think of a better answer for this. I just don't know who this is. Number 2, one of the earliest known maps in an approximately 20,000-year-old silicon that is thought to depict the Darling River. In what country? British Royal Navy officer Matthew Flinders stated that he saw 2 silicons in 1802 while he conducted the first inshore circumnavigation of this country. The Darling River is in Australia. You often hear Murray Darling as a phrase that's used, Murray being the longest river in the country, and I believe it's just a tributary of the Murray, and Flinders is a name you hear a lot in relation to Australia. Number 3, Surveyor General Andrew Waugh added 2 feet to the measured height of Peak 15 because he wanted to avoid the perception that the figure was a rounded estimate rather than a precise measurement. What is the name of Peak 15, which has a current measured height approximately 32 feet taller than Waugh's initial measurement for the Great Trigonometric Survey of India? So at first I was thinking it had to be in India, but the Great Trigonometric Survey was just a thing in that general area. Like I think K2, for example, was also a part of that. And I realized, okay, wait a second, like 32 feet taller, I think the most commonly cited height for Mount Everest these days is 29,032 feet. So, the initial measurement was probably 29,000, and then they wanted to make it 29,002 so that it didn't sound like an estimate. But it would make sense for it to just be Mount Everest. I've never heard it referred to as Peak 15, although, well, I mean, I don't know who would refer to it that way these days. But yeah, I think this makes perfect sense because of 29,032. Number 4, Uranography is a branch of cartography concerned with mapping what types of objects. The Almagest, written by Ptolemy, is a treatise that concerns itself with these kinds of objects. Will Tirion's 1987 hand-plotted cartographic masterpiece, Uranometria 2000.0, includes charts of almost 300,000 of these objects. So we're doing space things. I feel like it's just stars because, like, 300,000 of them, it's not going to be like planets because we don't know about 300,000 planets. So I think stars just makes more sense. So that's just, I feel like that's the only real good option here. Agloe, New York, USA. Argleton, Lancashire, England, and through a satirical conspiracy theory, Bielefeld, North Rhine-Westphalia, Germany, are what type of copyright trap settlement that appear on maps but do not actually exist? A 2008 novel by John Green makes use of this term as its title. I can name 3 John Green novels. They are The Fault in Our Stars, Looking for Alaska, and Paper Towns. And I feel like Paper Towns just makes way too much sense to not be correct here. I mean, Paper Town, like, that just sounds what's being described. Copyright trap that appears on a map. Paper Town, I don't know. I feel like that can't be wrong. I've never actually heard of this in this context, but I don't know what else this could be. And number 6, what is the name of the legendary mountain range charted on maps of Africa from 1798 through to at least the mid-1880s? These mountains were mapped as extending from Guinea in the west to the equally legendary Mountains of the Moon in the east. Their name is etymologically unrelated to that of a large fictional movie hominid. This is annoying because as soon as I read this, I was like, it's the Mountains of the Moon, because I learned about those recently, and those are quite obscure. And then apparently it's not the Mountains of the Moon because those are mentioned in the question, and it's another one, but large fictional movie hominid makes me think of King Kong, so I don't know. I will say they are called the Kong Mountains, perhaps. It could be King Mountains, but I feel like if it was King that would be, I mean, the word king means all sorts of stuff. Kong is more specifically King Kong. It also could be the King Kong Mountains, but that's also seems weird, like a very specific sort of name. So I think the best guess for me is just to say Kong and hope that's what's going on, but I really don't know. I have not heard of this before. And then I think I will probably enhance Paper Towns because I feel like not everybody knows John Green novels, and maybe the other thing is more well known than I think, but I think Stars, Australia, and probably Everest are more gettable than that. So, yeah, and then Humboldt I think is just wrong. And I don't feel good enough about 6 either because, well, it could be another hominid or it might just not be the right name anyway. So we'll go with 5 and we'll just have to see. Waldseemüller. That's a guy. Wow, that's hard though. Holy moly. I've definitely heard of him, but I don't think I'm ever gonna pull his name. Australia, Everest, Stars, Paper Towns, and the Mountains of Kong. Let's go. So I think I will get credit for that, which is definitely fortunate. But again, it makes sense. Large fictional movie hominid. That's just kind of the first thing you think of. If they say hominid rather than human, you just think it's an ape. So there you go. And yeah, 5 out of 6. Totally fine with that. And that does it for the quizzes in week number 2. I feel like that honestly went pretty decently overall. There were a couple quizzes that were rough, but I think they were rough for everyone. You look at the average scores on quizzes 2 and 4, they're just absolutely brutal. And I feel like I kind of came out pretty well on those. Okay, 6th is my standing apparently. That's not bad. I mean, 3.71 on the audio one, which is actually apparently that was one of the hardest ones. So I actually feel quite happy about pulling that one. First place on the literature one, so it looks like I enhanced correctly there, which is nice. 5.62 totally fine on the Geo one. Yeah, Waldseemüller, yeah, had a 7% get rate according to this thing here, so I don't feel bad about missing that one at all. Yeah, I mean, average Soluna question, putting the like hard German content, but yeah, again, I think I did pretty darn well overall. Apparently my enhance on quiz 6 was quite bad. That was the Bulgaria one. Oops. But honestly, otherwise looks like my enhances were fine. And I think I played decently well. So yeah, I will probably pause. Well, I mean, it is 8:59, but I'll pause for just a couple minutes to make sure that all the scores get imported. Then I'll take a look at the overall standings. And yeah, that'll be it. Okay, so we have final standings here. I did indeed finish in 6th out of 50 players this week. So pretty happy with that result. Season standings look like this. I'm in 3rd place behind Tezzy and Rasmus after 2 weeks. So again, pretty happy with that as well. Been a solid start for me, I think. And then what was I going to look at? Is there anything else for me to look at? Oh, right. Stats. I have never looked at the stats before in a video because I always forget to do it. But I'm going to look at the stats for the questions just to see how they played. Coppola 72 checks out. This one 56, sure. 84, honestly a little lower than I expected, but fair enough. ET was apparently not that hard. I just didn't know it. 64 and then 32. Genie coefficient. Yeah, again, I don't know what that is, but it makes sense that it's a little bit lower than the rest. Okay. Oh, right. I remembered what this was. So this was the Cassandra Vulcan thing for the not telling lies. Dude, 4% on the caves question. Yeah, and I'm not surprised either. Start with MA. I should have gone with MA instead of MAR, but MA felt so tenuous and so like really that I was like, I'm gonna add a 3rd letter because it might not be mammoth. But caves is just so insane. But the rest of these had about a 30-ish, 30 to 35% get rate. The one glove thing I was never pulling. The captains apparently was, well, a good deal harder than I thought because I thought that was maybe going to be the easiest one on the quiz, but the reduplicative names was a little bit easier in the end. I guess, I mean, that makes enough sense. They see the future was a common wrong answer. Yes, that makes sense. I think I said they read minds. There's a lot of things you could say there. But yeah, Overtures was actually the 2nd easiest. That shocks me because I really thought I was, like, that's insane to me that that's easier than Captains. I thought that was going to be way harder, but okay. Whoops. Number 3. Yeah, let's see. Cardigan. Okay, so I was definitely right to enhance Cardigan. It was actually the hardest on the quiz. Kind of surprises me. Black Widow, as expected, was known probably because of the superhero thing. That checks out. And then 1, I've never heard of that, but wasn't super easy. But yeah, happy with the enhance on the cardigan question. Number 4. Um, yeah, the John one was super hard. The gospel one, that makes sense. Most streamed songs on Spotify, that also makes sense, especially over 1 billion streams being a most common wrong answer. I mean, that's not wrong, is it? Like, I'm sure that's not wrong. It's just like, that's not exactly what they were looking for. I don't love that particular question, but whatever. Um, but California, happy with that. 7, interesting. Maybe people, several songs with 7. I don't know. People thought it was. I'm not actually sure how they got to 7, but whatever. Yeah. Again, just very, very tricky quiz in general, but I think I came out okay out of that one. Things Fall Apart was not the hard. Numbers was harder. That's interesting because I just thought like that was the clues just felt like they were pointing to numbers there, so I didn't want to enhance that. But okay, apparently it's a little harder than I thought. But Things Fall Apart was pretty hard too, so fine with that. Quiz number 6, all fairly easy. Lev was the easiest question, so that was a bad skill issue enhancing that one. Chris Ria was the hardest, which makes perfect sense. Should have enhanced one of these, but they were all pretty easy other than number 5. And then quiz 7, Walte Müller, yeah, makes sense that it was hard. Kong Mountain, that's crazy, almost 50% on that. What? Did everyone just guess that because of the whole King Kong clue? I guess that really just pointed people in the right direction. K2 makes sense as the most common wrong, but yeah, and apparently Australia, the Darling River, was easier than the Brazil Germany. That's nuts. Everyone is so geography pilled, like that. I mean, it's not that hard, but over 90% seems crazy. And Paper Towns was in fact the right thing for me to enhance there as well. So anyway, a little bit of a stats overview just for those of you who are interested, but that is going to do it for the video. Thank you all for watching another week of the LDQL, and I will see you again soon for week 3. But yeah, thanks for watching, and see you later.